What?
What?
What the hell is this?
Harumph. I didn't get a harumph out of that guy.
Give the governor harumph.
Harumph!
You watch your ass.
I see you shiver with anticipation.
Let the show begin.
Hey everybody, this is David Heretic coming at you with another edition of Reactions, Reviews, and Rants. And tonight... Okay, we're coming back to Nightwish. Yes, indeed. Nightwish fans, feeling you. Come on now. Here we go. Before we go any further, for those of you who are feeling inclined to doing all the clicks and the likes and the bibbity-boobity bop, do me a favor, before you do all that stuff, please watch the whole video first, okay? Give me a chance to actually earn those clicks and likes. Now, after the video's done, if you still feel like doing all those clicks and likes, then by all means, feel free to click away. This comes as a request from Wencho101, and this is actually Wencho's prioritized request for the month of September for being a silver tier member on the Patreon page. So here you go, Wencho. I hope you enjoy the show, man. Wencho wanted to see me react to this. It is Nightwish featuring, I hope I pronounced this name right, Henk Poort, Henk Poort. I hope I pronounced that right. And they're going to be performing the song The Phantom of the Opera. Now, have I heard the song before? Well, obviously, yes, I have. I mean, I'm a big fan of the musical Phantom of the Opera. And not only that, but I did a reaction to Nightwish performing Phantom of the Opera when Tarja was in the band. Now, from what I've been told by Wencho, this is recent, like fairly recent, like in the last couple of years. So this is with Floor on the vocals instead. So have I heard this particular performance? No, I have not. But I just want to be clear, want to be transparent with everybody, you know, not trying to hide anything. I have done a reaction to this song before with Tarja in the band, but this is a different one. So this is going to be basing my reaction, my evaluation, and my score on is this performance. Okay, so please keep that in mind. This was posted by Nightwish. Okay, you know, shocking. And the video has 2.3 million views. It'll get you there. Other than that, there's really nothing else left to say. Link to the original video will be down below in the video description for your viewing pleasure at your leisure. Let's get started. What do you say? Are you ready? Are you ready? Because here we go. All right, here we go. Nightwish, The Phantom of the Opera, featuring Henk Poort. I hope I pronounced that right. Live. Always good when it's live. All right, let's do this.
All right, boy, let's do this.
He said to me, that voice which calls to me and speaks my name. And do I dream again? For now I find the phantom of the opera is there inside my mind.
Nice.
Sing once again with me a strange duet. My power over you grows stronger yet. Although you turn to me
They can film the
and
vibrato.
glance behind, the phantom of the opera price there inside your mind.
Okay. I have no idea who this guy is, other than his name. I don't want to say the name again because I'm afraid I'm not saying it right. I don't know where he originates from. I don't know what work he's done. I'm not familiar with his body of work. I'm not familiar with anything about him. I'm literally going in with this guy completely 100% blind. Really nice voice. From that, okay. Flo, we already know has a nice voice. We already know that. But the gentleman here doing the vocals, really nice voice. Having never heard anything from him before. My first impression of him, very controlled. Like, I get the feeling he could do a lot more than he's doing. It feels very like when I say controlled, I mean I'm getting like a sense of restraint from him. Like I have a feeling he could do far more from a power aspect, projection aspect, range, everything like that. As far as his abilities go, I get the feeling he's really holding back, and I'm curious to know what else he could do. What else is he capable of? What other ranges and realms can we get into with this guy? Because he's too casual. It's just too, it seems like a walk in the park for him, what he's doing right now. And I've seen vocalists do this before who have, I wouldn't say struggled, but they've had to put 100% into it just to get the results that this guy is getting, just casually walking out on stage and strolling out on the stage. I'm glad to see he's not all, dolled up and trussied up, and he's not wearing like a suit or he's not wearing a tuxedo. I'm really glad to see that. He's coming out on stage wearing jeans and a t-shirt. Awesome. Look, you're going to be playing with a metal band, right? Why in the world would you go out on stage wearing a tuxedo? But I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen in the past where bands have been out there, dressed the way that they dress, and out comes the guest performer and he's wearing a suit.
Unacceptable!
I kid you not. And I'm just like, wow, you are really sticking out like a sore thumb right now, aren't you? All right. But this guy's coming out very intelligently, wearing, oddly enough, a Nightwish t-shirt. So he's going out on stage wearing the t-shirt of the band that he's performing with.
You're gonna wear the shirt of the band you're gonna go see. Don't be that guy.
Okay. But he's fitting the mood, he's looking the part, and he's coming out, and he's doing a nice job on the Phantom's vocals. So, anyway, let's keep going here.
Oh, so I've seen your face drawn back in fear.
I am the mask you wear.
It's me they hear.
Your spirit and your voice in one combined. The phantom of the uprise there inside your mind.
Good. Play to the crowd. Good. Okay, you guys have played to each other, and now play to the crowd on this next one. Oh, that's right, musical breakdown.
Ain't all your fantasy.
Nice.
You always know.
Nice.
And man and mystery.
One hope in you, and in this
Labyrinth, when night is blind, the phantom of the uprise there inside your mind. Sing for me, my angel of music.
the phantom of the
Sing
opera.
for me.
paused, this is gonna get blocked probably. Wow.
Dames en heren, Henk Poort!
I'll say it's pretty close. Okay, so I was singing it pretty close. I'm in so much trouble. I should have paused like 2 minutes ago. Oops.
You suck!
Well, you know what? If it gets blocked, it gets blocked. What can you do? Look, if they're gonna block it, they're gonna block it. I mean, it doesn't matter if I use, you know, the whole performance. If I use 20 seconds of it, it doesn't matter. They have grounds to block if they want to block. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. I was supposed to pause, but I just didn't want to.
That's the truth.
That was really nice, man. That was a great performance. Okay, let me get my thoughts together. I'll see you in the review and we'll talk about it. Well, there you go, folks. That was Nightwish featuring Henk Poort with The Phantom of the Opera. This was a request from Wencho101. And this was actually Wencho's prioritized request for the month of September for being a silver tier member on the Patreon page. So there you go, Wencho. I hope you enjoyed the show, man. Okay, before I give my score, I just need to say a couple of things because maybe if I say these things, maybe it'll make people understand how I came to the score a little bit easier. First and foremost, I've already done a reaction to Nightwish performing this song, okay? Now, granted, it was with a different vocalist, and it was without a guest vocalist. It was back towards the end of the Tarja period of the band. So, as a matter of fact, I think it was at the last show they did with Tarja. So, I've done a reaction to Nightwish performing Phantom of the Opera before, just not this performance with Floor on vocals. So, can I say that this is a fresh reaction? I can, but there's the side of me, however, that says I've seen Nightwish do this before, though. You know what I mean? So there is that. That's definitely a part of the equation. Secondly, I'm very familiar with the song itself. I'm a big fan of the Phantom of the Opera musical, so there's also that as well. You know, there's a lot of things being thrown at me right now as far as how I feel I should, react to this. So I do have a score, but keep in mind those couple of things. The other thing I'm going to say is this. Nightwish fans, feeling you, okay? Feeling you. Having said that, I've always been very complimentary of Nightwish, and I will continue to be. However, I'm also not going to sit here and just say that everything was hunky-dory, and everything was wonderful, and everything was great, and everything was perfect. I'm going to be objective. I'm going to say the things that I really like, and I'm also going to say the things I wasn't a big fan of. So, if you guys are the type of people, I'm not saying everybody is. I'm not saying every Nightwish fan is like this, but I do know there are a few Nightwish fans out there who are very protective of their favorite band, and they have their opinion of the band, and their opinion is Nightwish can do no wrong. Nothing that they do deserves anything less than a 10. Everything they do is perfect, and that's their mentality. If you are one, and they also get very offended when anyone has an opinion that is different than theirs. So if someone has an opinion of, Nightwish is great, they're wonderful, they're not perfect, but they're outstanding, and they get all offended over that. If you are one of those individuals, I'm going to make a recommendation right now, okay? I want you to look up there at that X. You see that X up there? You see that X? I'm going to recommend right now that you hit that X, okay? Seriously, do yourself a favor and do me a favor, okay? Because I really don't want to deal with the comments of, you don't know what you're talking about and you're an idiot and all this other stuff. Because number one, when I get those kind of comments, I just block them. okay? You get blocked and you are never heard from the channel ever again. Number 2, I just don't want to have to deal with the negativity. I really don't. So if you really are that kind of an individual, I want you to be honest with yourself. If you're that kind of an individual who gets easily offended by other people's opinions, click on that X. I would really appreciate it. You'll be doing me a favor and you'll be doing yourself a favor. Okay, I'm going to give you 5 seconds to think about it and then make your decision. Just as a reminder, the X is up there. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, if you're still watching the video, consider yourself warned. Okay, let's start off with the score, shall we? On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give that an 8.8. Yep, 8.8. I feel good about that score. Let me tell you why.
Why?
Going into this reaction, I already knew Nightwish could perform the song. I already knew that was going to happen. I already knew that they were going to play the song well. That was not even in question. When it came to the instrumentation is exactly what it sounded like before with the other reaction I did. It sounded exactly the same. No deviation really at all. And that's perfectly fine. Look, you got an arrangement of a song that you know and you really enjoy and it works well for you. Why would you change it? Stick to it. Stick with the horse in the race. Why not? Why would you change? If the horse is winning, why would you want to switch it out? You know what I mean? So that's fine. I got no issue with anything that happened instrumentally. Across the board, everybody did a great job. Everybody did a great job. Empu did a great job. Tomas did a great job. Yuka did a good job. Everybody sounded just fine. I have no issue whatsoever with anything that anybody did musically, okay? I'm going to get back to the instrumentation in a little bit. Let's move on to the vocals. Now, have I ever heard Floor perform the song? No, I haven't. This was a different vocal performance. Now, I know a lot of people compare, I don't know why they do this, but a lot of people like to compare Floor and Tarja. Who's better? Who's the better vocalist? Guys, at the end of the day, who cares? Seriously, they're both outstanding vocalists. There's no reason and no need to compare. I'm sorry, that's very prehistoric minded, that's very Neanderthalic minded, and I'm beyond that, guys. I really am. I just really don't understand that mentality at all. They both did an outstanding job on this performance, equally, okay? Were there some differences? Tiny little differences. And some things Tarja did better than Floor, and some things Floor did better than Tarja, okay? But at the end of the day, it all evens out, it all washes out, okay? It really was an outstanding performance, and that's really all I'm gonna say about Floor's performance. Now, I think the number one reason Wencha wanted me to do this was for the guest vocalist, Henk Poort, who I am not familiar with at all. I know absolutely nothing about him. I made the observation during the course of the reaction that he sounds to me, now I could be wrong about this, but it sounded to me like he was holding back. Like he was being very reserved in his performance. And I don't think it's because he's nervous, because everything on stage contradicted anything and showed absolutely no indication of him being nervous. He came out on stage confident with swagger. He played to the crowd. He interacted with Floor. I mean, he came out and he looked like he knew exactly what he was doing. So I got no problem with that. Does he have any experience in the rock and metal world? I don't know. I have no idea. But I mean, he came right up on the third stanza. He came right to the front of the stage, looked into the crowd, and put up the horns. So when he did that, I was like, okay, this guy knows how to play to a crowd. He knows how to play to a metal crowd. He's putting up the RJD, and he's playing to the crowd, interacting with them, and putting on a show. So to me, that shows some experience in the rock and metal world. Does he really have any, or is he just kind of going on the fly? And I've seen a lot of rock bands do this, so I'm gonna do it. You know, I don't know. He did it. He looked like a pro doing it. So I don't know if he's ever played in a metal band before or a rock band, or I don't know. So in the comments, you guys could let me know. as far as his vocals go, his pitch, spot on, projection and power felt reserved. It felt like he was holding back. It felt to me like he is capable of a lot more than what he did. But what he did the job just fine. You know, I got no complaints about his vocal performance whatsoever. It sounded fantastic. It sounded strong. It sounded precise. It felt to me like he was holding back, which makes me wonder, what else is he capable of doing? Is this one of those vocals that could absolutely blow the barn doors off of the barn? I don't know. I have no idea about the guy. But it just felt to me like within his vocal performance, it felt like he was only using like maybe 70 to 75% of his true power, which makes me wonder what he's really capable of.
What is your power level?
I don't know, give me a minute.
Broly does not like to wait.
Like I said, his pitch, projection, power, tone, diction, everything was great. His vibrato, again, felt very controlled, almost to the point of being a little restrained. And that's a good thing, in my opinion. I know a lot of people are going to take that as an insult. Guys, it is not an insult. It's a good thing. I can't tell you how many male vocalists, in particular male vocalists, I've seen who just do not understand how to control their vibrato. And the next thing you know, the vibrato wavelength, instead of being here, it's here. And it's like out of control. And I'm like, I didn't hear any of that with this guy. I was really impressed with him, actually. I dug his style. Speaking of style, I'm so glad he didn't come out on stage wearing a suit or a tux. He came out on stage dressed the part. He's going to be performing with a metal band. He's going to come out dressed like a person in a metal band. I appreciate that. Even though he was wearing a Nightwish shirt, which I was like, you're going to be that guy. You're going to go out on stage while wearing the shirt of the band that you're performing with. Okay, well, I guess so. I guess it works. No, but overall, very enjoyable. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that everything was hunky-dory and everything was perfect, because in my opinion, it wasn't. As far as the live show goes, the visuals, why was the band in the back? Listen, I understand that you're bringing out a guest vocalist. I get that part. I do. But whenever you have the band pushed to the back and the vocalists are up at the front, there is going to be that separation. It feels like the vocalists are the star of the show and the band is just there to back them up. It doesn't really look like a band. It doesn't look very conducive. So I've always had a problem with that. I've always had a problem with bands that do that. They take the band, they push them to the back, the vocalists are up at the front. Now, I understand that this is with a guest vocalist. And so I have a theory. And I'm really hoping I'm right about this theory. Because they had a guest vocalist coming out, they put the band into the back for this one song and this one song only. I'm really hoping that's the case, because they did want to kind of put the spotlight on the vocalist, because they did have a guest vocalist coming out. I'm really hoping that's the case. And as soon as Henk was gone and off the stage, I hope the band reset. They brought Empu down. They brought Yuka down. They brought the instrumentalists back to what they normally are doing when they have, guitar and bass up at the front of the stage along with floor, and it looks far more conducive rather than having everybody pushed in the back looking like a pit orchestra. You know what I mean? Now, if they did the entire show like that, where everybody was pushed to the back, I'm sorry, I don't like that. I really don't. It makes the band look secondary while the lead vocalist is up at the front taking all of the attention. And I'm sorry, that is not what a band does. That is not what a band is about. Unless they are specifically hired to be the backup band. That's different. If that's your job, if that's what you've been assigned to do, and you're a backup band, you're backing up the star of the show. Okay, well, that's fine. That's a different thing. But Nightwish has never been that way. They've always been one cohesive unit, one entity, not two. So I'm going to be honest with you guys, I was a little turned off by that. I understand the need, but I also could imagine, having Empu up at the front and having Yuka up at the front and having Henk being up there with Floor, and it would have worked, especially considering how little Floor and Henk moved around. It's not like they moved around the entire stage. Flora stayed center stage pretty much the entire time. She never moved off the stage right. So she would never have been in danger of running into Yuka or running into Empu. Henk moved around a little bit. I mean, he did move up to the front of the stage, interacted, and then he came back, back to Flora and interacted with her, went back to the front of the stage, interacted with the crowd, went back, but he never went all the way over to stage left, which is where which is where Empu usually is. So they never would have run into each other. So I understand the whole, putting the band in the back thing. I really don't. And I'm going to be honest with you folks, it does bother me. And I mean, it obviously bothers me because I've been going on and on and on about it for like the last 3 or 4 minutes. So does it bug me? Absolutely. And did the score come down as a result? You better believe it. It absolutely did. So I don't get it. I don't understand it. I don't like it. So yeah, I absolutely lowered my score for that because I just don't understand the reasoning behind it, other than they wanted to put the spotlight on the vocalist. But they could have done that easily with Empu and Yuka being up at the front. I'm sorry, Floor kind of steals the show anyway, so no reason to make it even worse. Anyway, 8.8, I feel really good about that score. That's the score I feel this performance deserves, and that's where we're going to stay. So, 8.8, final score, I have spoken. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of Reactions, Reviews, and Rants. Hope you all enjoyed the show. Hope I was able to entertain you. If I was able to put a smile on your face and brighten your day, I did my job, and I'm so glad I could do it. If you guys feel like joining the fan base, go ahead and click on that button down there. If you guys want to like the video, go ahead and like the video. If you guys want to ring the bell, go ahead and ring the bell. It honestly doesn't make any difference at all to me, but if you guys feel like doing these things, then by all means, feel free to do so. Well, that's going to do it for the night, folks. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, this is David Heretic signing off, reminding you to stay fabulous and support each other. Later. Peace.